Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. We're going to be joined by Zac Jackson right here in a second, but first I want to tell you, Bet Rivers players who place a same-game parlay of at least $10 on NFL or NCAA football games will receive an entry into the Weekly Squares game. Weekly Squares can earn up to a $50 bonus bet per entry. See the Bet Rivers app or website for more details. Zac was screaming and yelling at people apparently on Thanksgiving. He's got a scratchy voice. Zac, how you doing? Did you have a nice Thanksgiving?
Yeah, my family get-togethers is kill or be killed. So, no, I'm all right. And the Browns are alive, Bull.
They are
alive.
There's actually they're in the hunt, right? They're in the graphic. I know it was 13 out of 15. Only the Jets and Raiders didn't make the graphic, but listen, the Browns are still plus 50,000 here at Bet Rivers to win the division. But people are excited right now. Obviously, Myles Garrett, we'll talk about that. But Shedeur Sanders gave people just a little bit of hope. Some people more than others. But what did you think about his performance in his first start?
Yeah, I thought he was fine, right? Like, he wasn't asked to do much.
Yeah.
And that worked. And he made a couple of really nice throws. The game got to a situation where they didn't put him in bad spots. He only took one sack. He only threw one interception.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been over on both of those, right?
Definitely.
So going forward, you trust this defense. I mean, Bull, this goes back to the beginning. They wanted Joe Flacco to throw 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and turn it over to the defense, try to win in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It just got away from them, right? So if they can run the ball, if Myles Garrett can do this, and frankly, I didn't even think Myles was great last week by Myles standards. The rest of the defense was just all over the place, and he's the closer, right?
Yeah.
But Shedeur gets a solid grade. He got the win. And to me, the 2 most important days for Shedeur were yesterday and today, or the last 2 days, I guess, of practice, right? Yeah. He's still so new at this, and the ability is there. The comfort level should grow. And so no one should expect bad weather or not, I mean, right? Yeah. For him to throw 303 touchdowns. Now, there are idiots out there who do expect that.
They certainly are.
This is about comfort level, make the throws that are there, cut down on mistakes and give yourself a chance to turn it over to Myles Garrett in that defense.
You think this, and we'll get to the defense in just a second, but like in your mind, is the Browns drafting a quarterback in the first round a certainty next year, or could Shedeur Sanders change their mind?
He could. If they were to end up with one of the top 2 picks, then it's a certainty. But they're 1 win away from being out of that mix, right? So they're picking a 4 or 8. It's far from a certainty. And does he have, is it fair to look at this as a 6-game tryout for a lot of people, including the ones at the very top of the organization? I think it is kind of in a way. Yeah. And I think when you look at Shedeur, if you do see growth, if you do see exceptional accuracy, if you see just enough improvement and enough moxie, to give him a chance, I mean, if you want to keep this defense together as much as possible, go get a veteran, roll with Shedeur, and think you could put out a much better product next year. I think that's a reasonable thought. I don't trust the guys in charge to make the right quarterback pick, right? I don't trust the guys in charge to make the right wide receiver pick. I don't know where Shedeur is in his development versus his ceiling. But in the grand scheme of this being a terrible organization, just starting another rebuild, to have a kid that is showing you this ability and have the guys around him from the top of the rookie class, we see it. We've seen it 3 times, well, 4 times if you count the Jets.
Yeah.
The Browns are not in the worst shape. The Browns are in bad shape. The Browns are not in the worst shape among these teams at all.
No, obviously the Raiders, hideous, Jets, Titans, a couple of those teams, no doubt. And those teams are likely going to be drafting higher than the Browns, even with all the Browns' flaws, especially on the offense. Myles Garrett, 3 sacks last week. Talked about it wasn't even a great game for him. He has 3 sacks in a mediocre game. 18 on the season. He needs 5 sacks with 6 games to go to break the sack record, which is, I mean, just saying that sounds so weird because this is the record, obviously had been there for a while, and obviously TJ Watt, but to me, you got to break it by at least 1 because you're playing more games than they did when Strahan broke it. And certainly right now he's on pace to just destroy this record.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get 30, but he might get 30. Like, right? And
Yeah.
so right now here on Thanksgiving weekend, it's not, is he going to break it? It's, is he going to crush it?
Yeah.
Is he going to do it by next weekend at home, and then have 4 games to pile it on? So he just is that good. He's always been so talented that it's impossible to put realistic expectations on him. But I think there's been a consistency to it. I think there's a great fit with the people around him and the way he's coached and what he's asked to do. And I think he's taken his game to a completely new level, Bull. There's more polish to it. Just guys think they're getting away, and he closes on them. And he's just like in the zone. It's like when Michael Jordan said the rim was this big. That's what it feels like to Myles Garrett. And he's been just as disruptive on the plays that he's not making the sacks.
Right.
But as I was telling someone yesterday, headed to New England after 7 games, he had 5 sacks.
Yeah.
It's week 13 and he has 18. And we're talking about 30 being a realistic possibility. So, 1 or 2 this week, he could do it next week, do it at home.
Yeah.
And then when he passes that, we will talk about 30. I think he lands on 25, 27. Yeah. But at this pace, I mean, only Richard Dent, right, from the greatest defense of modern times, only ever had 3 or 10 in 3 games. He's breaking all of LT's records, all of Reggie White's records. Like, these guys are the greatest to ever do it, and they all played on good teams. Yeah. The last time there was an NFL Defensive Player of the Year from a losing team was 2006.
Right, and he's going to be a unanimous winner because there's
no way. I don't know what the odds are, but it's got to be minus 500.
Yeah. In fact, we could bring it up, guys. I think, but I mean, if you only counted his sacks from the last 4 weeks, he'd be tied for first in the league in sacks,
right?
Which is just absurd.
Right, and Brian Burns is having a great year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like it's not like the other guys fell off the cliff and have 6.
Yeah, right. It's amazing, and obviously he's okay. There you go. He's at minus 835 right now. The defensive player of the year. Yeah. You look at the guys around him, especially in the middle, where the Browns, have had rotating guys over the years. Obviously, Malik Collins has been one of the best free agent signings this group has ever had because he's been great. And Mason Graham, especially, I'd say the last month, is just his play has just gotten better and better. Let's start with Collins, though, because he leads the league in sacks amongst defensive tackles, or at least he did going into yesterday. I'm not sure if that's changed, but what a great pickup he was. And I've killed the Browns for all the, their free agent signings have mostly been crap, but man, this was a home run signing. What an addition he's been.
An ideal fit for Schwartz's scheme.
Yeah.
Right. Ideal fit for a veteran presence to bring Mason Graham along and those younger guys that they like. So, the Niners were intentionally getting younger. Malik Collins is 30. Browns gave him $10 million guaranteed, and it's been worth every penny. So, kind of underscores where they are. Right, Myles turns 30 next month.
Yeah.
You feel like these guys are being wasted, but like the construction of this defense is the exact opposite of the construction of the offense because they saw what they wanted to do.
Right.
They brought in Schlesinger, Delpit's best season ever. Malik Collins ideal fit. Mason Graham fits. Miles feasts. On the offense, we're still watching Jerry Jeudy play football, and it's driving me nuts. I can't even talk about it anymore.
Oh, my God. It's so painful. All right, let's stick with the defense because I do want to talk about Mason Graham because so many of us, it wasn't his fault, and we were just like all complaining that they drafted Mason Graham because it's boring to draft a defensive tackle in the top 5. It doesn't happen very often. Yeah. And he didn't seem to be doing all that much early in the season. He was fine, but there wasn't much impact. But as the season's gone along, he seems to have gotten better and better. And I thought this past week was his best game, certainly his most impactful game. And what do you think as a guy who's covered this team for so long about how good he is?
Yeah, you just wish you played offensive tackle if you're a Browns fan, right?
Because
that's the only thing is why are you not taking an offensive player?
Yeah.
But the overall thought was, this is just a really good football player.
Yeah.
He was a complete butt kicker in the middle for 3 years at Michigan. Guys couldn't block him. He will fit this scheme. He is an absolutely low maintenance player.
Yeah.
He will be very solid for years going forward. And you're right. He's had 2 bad games. He's had more really good games get overshadowed by either the offensive failures or Myles spiking one of these numbers. I don't, how would you say it or quantify it for sure? Because it's disruption over production.
Right,
but he's a top 20 defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Playing next to a top 20 defensive tackle. Playing next to the greatest defensive season we've seen.
Yes.
So, of course, they're wrecking shop, and that's the deal. Like, even if Myles wasn't putting up these numbers, the whole Schwartz philosophy is we're in the backfield. We make it hard on you. And as the game goes on, we're in the quarterback's head. We're in the play caller's head. We're in your lineman's head all the time. And they're not just in the heads. They're in the backfield pretty consistently.
We mentioned all these defensive players. You mentioned a few others. And we didn't even mention Denzel Ward, who completely shut down Brock Bowers. The only numbers he put up were basically in garbage time.
Yeah.
And there's not many corners that could, it seemed like every time he was on Bowers, he had Bowers on lockdown. I thought that was a great performance by him.
Denzel's awesome. He's top 5 corner. He's just every year. He's the low maintenance superstar.
Yeah.
Perfect attendance. Plays multiple coverages. Takes on different guys in different weeks. Always delivers. Like, he gives up a completion and people are like, oh my gosh. Like,
shocked.
Yeah. Like, he is just so rock solid. And it just goes to the bigger picture. Like, this is such a shame.
Yeah.
This defense is being wasted. If Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman catch one more ball against the Bengals, then the Browns are playing for first place next week.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy.
They don't melt down against the Jets, who are awful.
Yes.
They just wasted this season. They've constructed this defense that probably can't be replicated, but they've just wasted this season. And I don't want to be the guy spreading the opposite of holiday cheer here, Bull.
Yeah, right.
But let's not let one win over the Raiders and 2 good throws by Shedeur Sanders overshadow the fact that this thing is sunk. And there has to be new people in charge if they're ever going to fix this offense. It's overwhelming evidence, right? And you cannot let one game change that. It's not a thought. To me, it's reality. It's reality. The O-line is sunk. The receiving core is awful. And Shedeur is like, he is a maybe.
Right.
But Junkins is good, right? The rookies are good. But this team needs a new start completely on offensively.
Yeah.
And if Shedeur is a part of that, that's great. And that accelerates the timeline. There's one way out of the Watson mistake, and that's to find your own Brock Purdy. Could be Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. I mean, that would be great. If you feel good enough, and I agree with everything you say, on UCSS the other day, both Ross Tucker and Mary Kay Cabot said they should stick with Andrew Berry because he's done a great job in this draft. I completely disagree with that. And I don't disagree that he did. Yes, this draft was a good one, no doubt about it. But that, to me, I'm not keeping him based on one draft. I'm looking at the whole track record. It's been awful besides this year. And I'm certainly not keeping Kevin Stefanski. So I'm with you on all that. But I mean, it's hard. But ultimately, yes, if Shedeur Sanders can make who's ever in charge feel like, okay, we're going to go forward with him next year, at least next year, then what a difference that can make in the draft, because now you could just go hog wild on wide receivers and offensive linemen, and hopefully whoever's in charge gets it right, because obviously they have been so bad at those two positions in particular, drafting guys.
If you're picking 6th or 8th or whatever it's going to be, right? Like, it's best available offensive player.
Right.
And it's probably not going to be Jeremiah Love, right? Because you have Quinshon Judkins and because you have nobody on the offensive line. So, yes, you have 5 months to find the best tackle or the best wide receiver.
That's it.
Go get that guy. And then you go from there. Is Jacksonville's pick going to be 22nd, 16th?
Yeah.
We don't know that. How the rest of the things are going to stack. Who's coming back? Who's really pointing up? We don't know. But this when they didn't draft a wide receiver or an offensive lineman last year, I was like, And now it's overshadowing the good draft that they had, because
that's right.
Like, these guys aren't going to do it alone.
No.
I mean, I want to see Judkins and Fannin on a real offense. I'm not ready to put either one of them in Canton, right? But like, they're really good, and on a real offense, they'd probably be better. But like, they have to rebuild this entire line. They have to rebuild the entire receiving core.
Yeah, 100%. And I completely agree. I mean, like, Judkins on a good team could have had a 1,200-yard rookie season.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
At least.
For sure.
And Fannin might have been one of those, like, rookie tight ends used to never make an impact. But if he had been on a good team, he certainly could have been 1,000-yard or at least an 800-900-yard pass-catching tight end.
Yeah, let's be honest. Like, part of the reason he's putting up these numbers is because he has to play.
Oh, yeah, right.
They have to feed him the ball.
Got
but
nobody else.
He's 21 years old. He only was learning tight end playing in the Mid-American Conference.
Yeah.
And he came in and they said, hey, we need you. And every single week he makes a catch and throws a guy down to the ground.
It's unbelievable.
His ceiling is very, very high. He's ahead of schedule, and he's not always going to put up these numbers. But if you have a true number 1 and number 2 receiver, and then Harold Finn running underneath, that's how you get really good. Isaiah Likely, he's wearing the clown shoes today because he fumbled last night. But that's who Harold Finn is. It's smaller school, developmental guy who comes in, and you're like, oh my gosh, as a complementary piece to this offense, we got this guy. He can play tight end, he can play receiver, he can play fullback. He can get out in the open field and guys can't bring him down. Harold is already on pace to be better than Isaiah Likely, who's going to get $20 million in March from somebody.
Oh, yeah. I can tell you as a Bengals fan that I wish the Bengals would have drafted Harold Fannin, because on that team, in that offense, he would have been – he wouldn't have put up huge numbers because obviously Chase and Higgins, but he would have been such a threat, such a weapon.
Yeah.
So –
And the problem in Baltimore isn't Isaiah Likely. It's that Lamar suddenly has turned into Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. What has happened? Is it just, you think it's just injury? What is going on there? He's been terrible.
Yeah. I think it's the offensive line more than anything.
Yeah.
I don't see them all the time. I've seen 8 of their last 12 quarters because of how the schedule's worked out, but he doesn't seem to be on time with Zay Flowers. He doesn't seem to be trusting, where guys are going to be with the line. And I think maybe the Browns beat him up to that point. And then the Browns obviously gave that game away.
Yeah.
But he's just there. There's no confidence there to do anything. And I saw Zay Flowers had 1 catch and obviously had the touchdown called back because he makes that.
And then he fumbled his one catch at the end of the game.
They have no flow. And they thought this was the year. And, they got back. They won 4 or 5 games in a row before last night, but it never looked great.
No. No. He has not looked like himself at all.
Yeah. So they still should win the division. They still should have a month to figure things out, but he does not look himself. And I think it mostly, I would blame the right side of the offensive line for the lack of trust that he has, but clearly something's missing.
It takes a lot. It's hard work to make the Bengals defense look pretty good, which they did last night.
Yeah.
But the Bengals defense in their first 11 games forced 10 turnovers. Last night they forced 5. So that tells you where the Ravens are offensively. Looking ahead to this game against the Niners this weekend to wrap it up, obviously, you got McCaffrey, you got Kittle. Their receivers not amazing, but, Pearsall's kind of rounding into form again, and Juwan Jennings has been good. But let's start with obviously McCaffrey, because when the Browns beat the Niners, was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
Right. McCaffrey was having a big game, and then he got hurt, and the Browns ended up winning. Obviously, he's their most dangerous guy, both as a runner and a pass catcher. What's the game plan? Are you spying him with Schlesinger? Can you even do that? What would you do here with him?
Well, their game plan is going to be to use him to offset the rush. Now, historically, a Schwartz defense has been really good against Shanahan offenses.
Yeah.
And the Browns defensive line is playing great. So it's going to be a million dump offs to him.
Yeah.
A million misdirection plays to Jennings and to Pearsall, and a bunch of dump offs to Kittle. They don't want Brock Purdy to get hit, obviously.
Right.
And in 35-mile-an-hour winds, it's going to be quick. So if Christian McCaffrey gets 15 targets behind the line of scrimmage, it's not going to be a surprise. So it's going to be a run and punt game, Bull. It's going to be don't turn it over. It's going to be cash in when you can. So I think both teams know that probably 1st to 17 wins. Obviously, when you do dump it to McCaffrey, he makes the first guy miss. That's when he gets really dangerous. So it's going to be a little cat and mouse in terms of maybe the Browns not going fully upfield all the time, but how do the Browns win? You get pressure in the middle.
That's right.
You make Purdy get rid of it before he wants to. You make him doubt what he's seeing, and you put him in 3rd and 8 when Myles can come around. So, is Myles going to get 3 against Trent Williams and against an offense designed to get the ball out quickly? Probably not. But can Myles get the 1, get the ball out,
right,
and cash in? That's how you win. So the punters are going to be busy, and Christian McCaffrey is going to get 15 targets. I feel pretty confident about that.
No doubt. And to put a bow on how bad the Browns wide receiving core is, as you know, and as most of our fans know, we do a segment on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show called Fence Riders, where you got to, basically like an over-under thing. And the Browns wide receiving core is so pitiful that Mikey McNuggets this week asked us a question: what will be the higher number? Receptions by all Browns receivers, wide receivers combined, or receptions by Christian McCaffrey only? And I and most of the other panel went with the McCaffrey.
It's a great line. It's a great line. It would only be tilted slightly towards the Browns if it was on BetRivers.
Right.
For sure.
Last week the Browns, or for the season, McCaffrey is averaging, I think, 1.5 less receptions per game than the entire Browns receiving corps combined for the entire season. And for this game in particular, as you said, I think they're going to go to him 1,000,000 times. I would be surprised if he had 10 catches.
Yeah, look, this is a great spot for the Browns. The Niners have not had their bye week yet. They're on a short week. They're coming across the country to play in bad weather. It's like, I'm not surprised by the line drop. Not surprised by the energy around the Browns. It's just, can they create enough offense? And if it does come down to one drive, one play, can they do it? But at this point, you have to have full confidence in Collins, Graham, and obviously Myles Garrett to put that offense in a chance to succeed. And you never know. Like, they can win this game. They really can.
Yep. What's your pick? Niners -4.5. The over-under is 36. What are you going with?
I'm going to go Niners 17, Browns 16.
So the Browns will cover, but lose 17-16. So they'll go under with the 33 there. All right, Zach, rest up the voice, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Yep.
Great stuff with Zac Jackson, who always is awesome and always keeps it real, which is what I do and which is why I love having him on. Thanks, everybody, for listening and watching, as always. Thanks to Max and Z for producing. Everybody, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and continue to have a fantastic holiday weekend. I'll be back on after the Browns and Niners Sunday. We'll get back to the 1 o'clock game, so I'll be on somewhere around 4:30 on Sunday. Until then, talk to you next time in the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. See you, everybody.